Hi, thanks for watching this video. I'm Bob for Oregon Coast Now. Now in my previous video, which you should go back and watch if you haven't seen it already, I talked about the roads that come into Tillamook County, which is on the North Oregon coast, and how they are woefully inadequate and how you need to be really careful if you're traveling in on Highway 6, and you will be on Highway 101 while you're in this county. In this video, I'm going to talk about the amenities that we have and don't have once you arrive here. I'm going to say it again, and I'll probably say it in every video I do for this series. This is a rural area. This entire county has a population of about 25,000 people. We've become very popular with tourists over the last several years, so that in a weekend, in the spring and summer during tourist season, we can have 4 times as many visitors as we have residents. Therefore, there can be about 125,000 people in the county, and we just don't have enough of anything really to handle that. Now, you're coming here and you're thinking, well, I'll pick up the necessities when I get there. We're going to have a picnic, we're going to have a cookout. That's probably not a great idea. There are 2, and only 2, full-sized supermarkets, the type that you're used to in your hometown or suburb, in this entire county. And I am currently standing in the parking lot of one of them, which is this very large Fred Meyer store over here. There's also a Safeway about a mile south of here, 1 block off of Highway 101 on 4th Street in downtown Tillamook. But that's it for big stores. This Fred Meyer store here is also the closest thing we have to a mall or a department store in this whole county. There are other smaller supermarkets scattered around. They're locally owned and they're small. And there's a chain of convenience stores called Center Market, about a half a dozen or so. But if you need stuff, a lot of stuff, you're going to end up either at the Fred Meyer right here, or you're going to end up at the Safeway. Now, they get inundated, absolutely inundated with people, especially on Friday afternoons and their evenings and Saturday during tourist season. And they run out of stuff. They really do their best to anticipate the rush. But, for example, just the other day I saw somebody rolling 2 or 3 shopping carts filled with bags of ice out of here, and that happens a lot. There's a freezer chest up in the front of both stores, but at any one time they can hold maybe 100 or so bags of ice. When people are buying 30, it doesn't take long before that ice chest is depleted. So, and they may have ice in the back which they'll bring out, but they have to realize that the chest is empty first, so you may be standing there looking for the ice. I would bring ice with me if you're coming here. Buy some of those cheap styrofoam coolers, fill them with bags of ice. Also put in hamburger meat, steaks, and hot dogs and the buns for them. Those things sell out. Also charcoal, lighter fluid, condiments, mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise. These things sell out because people come in and buy it. Bottles of water. The other day I went in and all the 1-liter bottles of water were gone. You could get jugs, but there's no predicting which variation will run out. It's just what people are buying. So that would be your first best thing to do. Bring the essentials with you. Also, if there's some exotic or unusual kind of thing, there's some organically grown, artisanally sourced tofu, something, like that, you're not going to find that around here. We don't have specialty stores. There isn't enough of a population to sustain them year-round. Bring anything like that with you. Otherwise, you're going to be upset when you get here. There's some brand of beer, you have to have it. You just have to have that kind of beer or that kind of soda. Bring that stuff with you. Do not expect that it will automatically be available. Now, the Fred Meyer store, since it is the only big box store in the county, that means no Walmart, no Kmart, no Target, also no Best Buy, also no Trader Joe's, no Whole Foods. None of that stuff exists around here. That's the only store where you can really get clothing if you want to buy clothing while you're here. However, next to it is a Goodwill. If you just want to get clothes to wear at the beach and you don't mind secondhand, you can hit up the Goodwill. Other than that, you're just not going to find clothing around here. Now, as for accommodations, there are 4 motels in the town of Tillamook. You're looking at one right now called the Ashley Inn. I have stayed there. That's very nice. It's fine. Also, around over here, and it's in the distance, you may or may not be able to make it out, but there's one called the Shiloh Inn. That's a chain in the Northwest. And I visited, my aunt and uncle came to stay here, and I visited them. They were at the Shiloh. That's also nice. In this town, there are 2 other locally owned motels, and I can't really tell you much about them. I've never stayed in them or been in any of the rooms there. And there are other motels, like, for example, up the road in Garibaldi, a town that's about 10 miles north of Tillamook. But there is no Holiday Inn, no Marriott, no Hyatt, no Motel 6. None of the big national chains have a presence in this county. I told you in the last video, if you're coming here, it's more than an afternoon trip, make sure you have reservations. You really need to do that. All of these places fill up. All of these places fill up. Now comes the part that may surprise you. Camping. If you're new to camping, you may think it's essentially infinite. That you can just take a tent and stick it anywhere in a campground. That is not the case. They have marked sites, and they fill up as well. There are 4 different kinds of campgrounds in this county. The federal government runs some campgrounds to the Park Service. The state of Oregon owns some campgrounds. The county, Tillamook County, has campgrounds scattered around, and there are locally owned privately operated campgrounds. They all fill up. The last time I checked, the federal campgrounds were requiring reservations 120 days in advance. That's 4 months in advance. I'm shooting this right now in early April. That would mean May, June, July, and August are almost certainly filled up already in the campground on Cape Lookout, for example. You have to make sure you have a place to stay. Don't just show up and say, we'll just breeze in, we brought our tent, there's going to be a place. You may find out there simply isn't. When the McDonald's, before COVID, had indoor seating open, on more than one occasion I've talked to tourists who's like, you live around here? Yes. Well, where can we go to get a campsite? Every place we've tried is closed. And the answer is, yeah, you waited too long. You're going to be very, very disappointed if you do that to yourself. So make sure you have a reservation. Restaurants, plenty of restaurants. No big national chains, no Outback Steakhouse or anything like that in this county. Every restaurant I can think of pretty much is locally owned. The ones that are not fast food. Even fast food, even with the number of tourists that we get, we're surprisingly limited in national fast food chains. Here in Tillamook, and these are all right on Highway 101, we have a McDonald's, we have a Burger King, we have a Pizza Hut. I do not recommend the Burger King. I know a guy who works here in the Fred Meyer store, used to be the manager of that Burger King. When he took it over, it was number 89 in the state. In other words, it was ranked 89th by the Burger King Corporation. There were only 89 Burger Kings in the state of Oregon at that time. He improved it somewhat, but it's always had a problem. It's always been a problem location. It's gone through several owners. It's just never gotten better. I don't know what the problem is. McDonald's is pretty competent. They can make a mistake like anybody can, but they know what they're doing. The Pizza Hut is okay. Up at Garibaldi, 10 miles up the road, is a Dairy Queen. The Dairy Queen is also kind of a problem. They're always understaffed, and it's drive-through only at the moment, and the lines tend to be pretty long on weekends. There are many, many other restaurants, especially seafood, as you would expect since we're so close to the ocean here. Let's see, what else would I want to tell you? Basically, be prepared is the watchword here. Make sure you have everything you absolutely need. Medicine, too. If you need medicine, there is a pharmacy in Fred Meyer. There is a local pharmacy. There's also a pharmacy in the Safeway. But bring your prescriptions with you. Bring them along with you. Know what you're doing. Understand that the area you're going to is rural and is limited in terms of resources in basically every way. Make sure everything is in a row, lined up before you come over here and find yourself being very, very disappointed. Clothing. The only place you can buy clothes, I think I mentioned this, is in the Fred Meyer or the Goodwill next door. There is no other place. Sporting goods, if you need to get that, there's a small selection of that sort of stuff in the Fred Meyer, but diagonally across is a very, very large camping and sporting goods store, and they should have pretty much whatever you need in there. Beyond that, the watchword is plan ahead. Plan ahead for everything. If you just wing it and show up, you're not going to have a good time. You're not going to have a place to stay. You're not going to have a place to buy the things you need. Do your planning in advance. I think that covers it for now. In the future, we'll be doing more specific videos about certain different places, different towns and beaches in the county. But I think this video and the previous video cover the absolute essentials that you need to know about if you're planning on coming to the Oregon coast and specifically Tillamook County. So thanks very much for watching. If you haven't seen the previous video, please do so. It'd be great help if you like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to try to give you more information like this, very practical information. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.